And I was the girl that would maybe poop every 7 to 10 days. I would go to doctor after doctor and they said, you know what, Marina, this is all in your head. And I'm thinking, I'm getting so toxic. Oh my gosh, I just lost 7 pounds of poop. This is life changing.
We have to start with your story.
Gosh, I'll tell you my journey. It started in my early 20s. So I was dealing with chronic constipation and I was working full time. I was working 14 hours a day and I was the girl that would maybe poop every 7 to 10 days. And I just felt like I couldn't get any answers. I was getting really sick. I was dehydrated. My hair was falling out. I started to get all these different symptoms and I was like, what is going on? And nobody could help me. I would go to doctor after doctor and they said, you know what, Marina, this is all in your head. You just need to calm down. So I went on this 5-year journey looking for answers on why can't I go to the bathroom? And I'm thinking, I'm getting so toxic. I was getting sick, brain fog, all these things started happening. And it wasn't until I stumbled across a naturopathic doctor and she said, Marina, have you tried a colonic? Now, this was 30 years ago, so nobody talked about poop. Nobody talked about constipation or gut health. It was not a popular topic. So I'll never forget, I went into my first colon hydrotherapy session with her. I got out of the session, I looked at her and I said, oh my gosh, I just lost 7 pounds of poop. This is life changing. Like you just changed my life. Like I literally was jumping up and down with like this poop chair going, oh my gosh, like this is the first time I felt like normal, like human. And we continued to do colon hydrotherapy sessions and it took some time, but we ended up correcting my constipation. And it was at that moment where I thought, why isn't anyone else doing this or helping people like this? Like I can't be the only one out there doing this, right? And so yes, I was working 14 hours a day. I was a professor. I was doing all of the things, but there was like this calling where I thought, I have to help these people out there. You know, I can't be the only one, for 5 years, thousands of dollars on this journey. I felt like I was on my own little island and, no one wants to talk about poop.
Yeah, it's taboo.
Yeah, I think we need to break the norm.
So take me into the history of colonics because I didn't know this, but Egyptians, the Greeks used this. How are they using colonics back then and why did we stop?
Colon hydrotherapy was very popular. I mean, all the way from the 1500 BCs, like you said, the Egyptians, the Greek. I mean, my favorite doctor was the Greek doctor, Hippocrates. And he said, all disease stems from the gut. And I'm a big believer in that. And that really hit home when I started reading his books and started researching. I thought, wow, I wish more people knew about this and were more educated on this. So colon hydrotherapy, it's nothing new. I mean, these are ancient remedies that have been practiced for, like I said, since 500 BC. And it wasn't until about the 1900s, 1920s when Big Pharma came out. And guess what came out? Laxatives. Yep. And they were paying doctors very well to prescribe laxatives. And it became very, very popular. And that's when we started to see colon hydrotherapy, even natural remedies like coffee enemas, castor packs. It was kind of like, yeah, you need a laxative. That's what you need. And the unfortunate part is that people started getting addicted to laxatives. Like we see it every day. I mean, even today, people are on laxatives for years. And what happens is they get so addicted, it just stops working. And when it stops working, what happens? What do? Now they're dealing with chronic constipation still, right? Because the laxative's not working. So they typically come see us for a colonic and they're at the point where they're like, I'm so desperate. What happens is with the laxatives is that you have this peristalsis, this wave-like motion, right? And it's like that poop window, like at 7 a.m. Mine's at 7 a.m. I'm like, oh, I got to go. My peristalsis is kicking in. So when you're on laxatives, and you abuse laxatives, you break that and you don't even feel anything anymore. So you never feel like you have to poop, ever. It's like you could go days like, I just never get the urge to poop.
So the laxative isn't stimulating peristalsis.
No.
Which I think a lot of people think it is.
It is at the beginning, there's no question. But if you start, taking it for 2-3 years, it stops working.
Wow. Well, it's use it or lose it. Your body doesn't even know how to regulate its own peristalsis.
That's right.
Interesting. Okay, let's get into the gut. We don't have to pull out a diagram, but tell us, what does the gut do beyond digestion? Because most people are like, oh, it's just a digestive organ.
When it comes to the anatomy, you're eating food, it's going throughout the digestive tract. It's then hitting your small intestines. That's where all the food is being absorbed. After it's being absorbed, it then goes into your large intestines. And your large intestines are about 5 to 6 feet long. So it's wild. So the food has to travel 5 to 6 feet long in order to evacuate and to get out of you. So if you're dealing with constipation, think about this. I was a girl that would poop maybe once a week. And so what was happening? I mean, I'm eating 3 meals a day, 6 days out of the week. That's 18 meals. Where is it going? It's literally just sitting in my gut. And now it's fermenting. And then what happens? All of the bad
toxins.
bacteria get super happy and super excited, and it starts taking over. So now you have this overgrowth of bad bacteria. And then what happens? You start becoming very acidic, and then parasites. And it's just like this landfill. It just starts building and building. It's like 6 days of not pooping. I mean, it's just a bad thing. I mean, people need to be pooping every single day. Quite frankly, you should be pooping after every meal. And if you're not, we've got a problem.
Wow, every meal.
Every meal.
So what's happening in our body, or is it our environment? Is it the type of food that people are getting so constipated and backing up more frequently?
I think it has a lot to do with our nervous system. I think so many people are living in this fight or flight mode. And think about it. We get in that fight or flight mode and we're working 14 hours a day, or we're stressed, or we have to hit our quotas. Our body is literally going, and this is our rectum right here. And what is it doing? It's closing. It does not want to let go. We're like barely breathing, right? And so our whole nervous system is just like this, but it's not until we start to let it go and relax and find different modalities that help the digestive system and the nervous system really relax that you can start to having proper bowel movements. I think that has a lot to do with it. But yes, I think it's diet. I think it's toxins. I mean, we're living in the 21st century, right? So we're on toxic overload. I mean, when it comes to our food, there's glyphosate. When it comes to just our clothing, when it comes to what we're putting on our skin, makeup, lotions.
Yeah, the toxic load.
Yeah, it's now more than ever. I mean, I don't think we had this toxic load 30 years ago, compared to what we have today. So this environment is very toxic. And I think our body can naturally detoxify. There's no question. I think it's very resilient and it can bounce back. But I think with the toxic overload, sometimes the liver, which is deciphering all the toxins, is saying, hey, time out. I need a little bit of help.
So take me into, you're big on, there's drainage and there's detoxification.
Yes.
Can you clarify the difference and just tell us why is there a difference?
We see a lot of people every day and they're so excited to jump on a detox or a cleanse. And they're coming to us usually because they're constipated. And so I'm thinking, if your drainage pathways are not open, you should not be doing a cleanse. Like, don't even waste your money on a cleanse, because one of your detox pathways is your colon. You're peeing, you're pooping, you're sweating. That's opening up your detox pathways. You need to eliminate everything out. So, people are so excited to go on the next cleanse or the next TikTok, pill or the next drink. And they're just jumping from one thing to another. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's just stop and let's get you to have a bowel movement every day so you can eliminate all of these toxins out of you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lymphatic system, which I think is overlooked. A lot of people don't talk about it. That's one of our detox pathways. An interesting fact is, we carry 6 to 9 liters of blood. Our lymphatic system, we carry 9 to 12, so double that in regards to lymphatic fluid. So we're full of all these lymph nodes, but if they're clogged, if they're stagnant, because we're dumping all of our toxins into it, think of it almost like this traffic system throughout our body, and it's carrying and transporting all of our toxins. And how do we release them? By sweating, by peeing, by pooping. Well, if you're not doing any of that, everything is backed up. So I think it's really important to make sure you have movement and make sure you're releasing, because the lymphatic system isn't like the cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system is, has the heart to pump, but the lymphatic system has nothing really. It really does have the diaphragm. So if we're breathing, which most people aren't, if we're breathing and opening it up, our lymphatics, that's like a natural pump for our lymphatic system. But I do find so many people are in fight or flight that they can't even get to that point. And in order to get these toxins out and to get our detox pathways open, we need a little bit of movement to help break up that stagnation and to eliminate it out.
Yeah, it's like, movement is the pump. Talk to me about the immune system. Most people know that, okay, there is a connection between the immune system and the gut, but how do you explain it to your clients?
80% of your immune system resides in your gut. That blew my mind when I found that out. That's significant. I believe it does start from the inside out. It really does. And I think that a lot of people aren't educated that, wow, they'll look at me and they'll go, my immune system, 80% resides in my gut. I'm like, yes. Another thing is that 80% of serotonin, the happy hormone, resides in the gut. So I think it's so important to really take care of your gut. I mean, think about it. People are detoxing their homes, their pets, their skin, their mind, which is beautiful. But what about our guts? We're eating every day, 3 meals a day typically, right? And then we're digesting it and we're absorbing it, but nobody talks about detoxing the gut.
Well, I was that person.
Really?
I never did colonics. I understood the connection, obviously, with the gut, the microbiome, the immune system. So, and I didn't have any digestive issues, but it's not just digestive issues that the colonic can help, right? So tell me a little bit, like, what type of clientele come into you? What are they looking for? What are the symptoms? What are the patterns that you're seeing of people showing up on your door more than just constipation?
I think there's a misconception. I think a lot of people think, oh, I have to be constipated. I have to be dealing with constipation in order to get a colonic. I have to be sick in order to get a colonic. And that's not quite the case. We're dealing with people that are very healthy. They're working on anti-aging. We're dealing with professional athletes. I mean, we're dealing with all walks of life. The stay-at-home mom, maybe someone who is sick or dealing with cancer. So we're dealing with all walks of life. And it's really an overall cleanse for your entire immune system when you're doing colon hydrotherapy. So you don't have to be sick to be doing colon hydrotherapy. Some people just come in for like a little touch-up or maintenance. Let's say maybe they had too much holiday cheer or they're overseas for the summer and they want to come back and really do a full body cleanse. Yeah. Because in colon hydrotherapy, you're going to be releasing not only poop, basically, you're going to be releasing bile or you'll see bile coming out. You'll see stuff coming out from your gallbladder, a lot of lymph you'll be unloading. Mm-hmm. So after your session, a lot of people are like, wow, I feel lighter. I don't feel as puffy. My inflammation is completely down from the colon hydrotherapy session. Mm-hmm. So they just feel better, I find.
Yeah. So personally for you, how often do you use hydrotherapy?
Right now I'm detoxing from mold. So let's back up a little bit. I was exposed to mold in August of 2024. So I'm 11 months into it. So I think I'm a big believer that your body can naturally detoxify. There's no question. And it's resilient, like I mentioned. But there's a certain point where my immune system was like, hey, I need a little bit of help. I was exposed to black mold in August. And all within 4 weeks, all of these symptoms started happening. Then I was exposed to mycoplasma, which is a really bad bacteria. So I'm dealing with black mold, now mycoplasma, which is walking pneumonia in my lungs. Then I checked in with a holistic dentist, a friend of mine, and she says, Marina, you have a root canal and it's infected. It's really infected. Like there's pus coming out of it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, all of this is happening within about 4 weeks. So my body and my immune system is like screaming at me. Think of your immune system like a little army, right? So they're there to fight. But at some level, they're like, hey, I need a little bit of help. And I think people don't really realize that. But when you are sick or when you are detoxing from something like that, you do need a little bit of help. For me, I did castor oil packs that they were very beneficial. I did coffee enemas as well. I did IV therapy, high doses of vitamin C, because I'm trying to protect and help my immune system to try to get back to naturally detoxifying it. And it was just a process. I mean, all of our blood filters through our liver every 4 minutes. So it's filtering out all these toxins. Well, it's now filtering out black mold, and my liver enzymes were completely elevated, like to the point where it was like, okay, we're a little concerned. I mean, I was bedridden for 2.5 months. So I had to figure out like, how am I going to protect my immune system and how am I going to detox properly in a very safe way? And what was really remarkable is I tested myself after 6 months of doing colon hydrotherapy, coffee enemas, castor oil packs, all of the things. My levels were absolutely cut in half.
The levels of mold. Oh, really?
Yeah, it blew my mind. Usually black mold is such a beast. It's so hard to get rid of that usually people will traditionally detox for well over a year to 2 years to 3 years. Black mold's the toughest one to get rid of.
And doing the colon hydrotherapy, obviously, coffee enemas, everything. You pulled out every tool.
Absolutely. Colonics changed my life. I wouldn't say changed my life. Colon hydrotherapy, coffee enemas, and castor oil packs saved my life. There's no question.
Okay, walk me through, like step by step, really break it down. What can someone expect with a colonic?
So colon hydrotherapy is an internal cleanse for your colon. And we're taking highly filtered warm water and we're basically putting that into your large intestine. So we don't touch your small intestines when it comes to colon hydrotherapy. So we're just taking highly filtered water. Now your large intestine is 5 to 6 feet long. So we're taking highly filtered water. And if you are dealing with constipation or if you haven't cleansed for a while, over time, you're building up layers and layers of toxins that you have in your large intestine. And if you're dealing with constipation, your poop gets like boulder, clay-like hard, just like super dehydrated, uncomfortable, right? So a colon hydrotherapy, we're taking that warm filtered water and hydrating the entire colon. And so we're softening and loosening everything up. And with that, you'll start to eliminate, things will start to come out of you, and you'll start to release all of these toxins. Education is so important to us when we are educating a new client on, what you're getting into, how the colonic works. And we want to make sure that they have the right expectations. And we want to make sure that they're educated on colon hydrotherapy and how the whole digestive system works, right? And what we're doing. So what's going to happen basically is after we go through the education, I will show them exactly what to expect. In the colon hydrotherapy session, you will have to insert a little tube. It's called a rectal nozzle. It's probably the size of a number 2 pencil. Okay. It's very teeny. It's lubed up. It's ready to go. We'll walk the client through it. There's only one way in to insert it, right? So you kind of can't screw that up. I always tell people, and I think that a lot of people have a lot of anxiety around, oh my gosh, I have to put something up my butt. Yeah. And you do. And it's just, again, it's the size of like maybe a number 2 pencil. And you're going to insert it about like an inch and a half. Best way for me to explain it to you. And the open water system that we have is Angel of Water. And so it's kind of like a reclined toilet, I guess you can explain. You'll be laying down. You'll slowly insert the rectal nozzle in. We'll then turn on the water for the session. And it's a very slow, steady stream of water going into your rectum, okay? So as the water's going into your rectum, what's going to happen is you do start to fill up with water, right? So you will fill up with water and then you will push the water out. And a lot of people I find can get a little hung up, even I did for my first session, on, oh my gosh, the nozzle's going to fall out. Why do I have to push? Yeah. And it's one of those things on, think of your body like ebbing and flowing, like these waves coming in and out. So you'll fill up with water, you'll hold it for a couple seconds, and then you'll push it out. Meanwhile, the tube is in your rectum the whole entire time, putting slow, gentle water into your rectum.
So the tube is always administering a steady rate of water.
Correct.
And then you are pushing everything.
You'll get the urge.
Yes.
You will
I remember the urge.
You will get the urge like, oh, I got to go. And then you'll just push and you'll eliminate.
But you want people to kind of not immediately release it, right?
I mean, you can either ebb or flow, or you can hold it for a few seconds and then you can release it. And then you can hold it for a few seconds and then release it. So again, it shouldn't hurt. There shouldn't be any pain. It's very gentle. Every once in a while, if you felt some cramping or a little bit of gas as the water's coming up, it might hit some blockage and you might go, oh yeah, I feel a little gassy. And it could be a little uncomfortable for a few seconds and that's it.
I remember you can see what comes out of you.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best part about it.
So, I mean, have you ever been in the room like, oh, that's this and that's that, or that's candida? Like, is there any?
I mean, you can see stuff. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't prescribe or tell them what they're looking at really. That's really not my job, but you definitely can see a lot. I mean, you'll see parasites coming out. You'll see all kinds of different things. I mean, you'll see some green sludge coming out. That would be gallbladder or gallstones. Oh. So you will watch exactly what's coming out of you throughout your whole colon hydrotherapy session.
I want to go back to the bacteria because I did have a client say, well, if they're flushing everything out of my colon, what about my good bacteria?
So you have good bacteria and bad bacteria, right? And we do typically find that if you are dealing with constipation, that you're probably going to have an overgrowth of bad bacteria. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe. I always say, hey, get with your practitioner, get down to the root cause of it. But you're definitely going to lose a little bit of good bacteria. You're going to lose a lot of bad bacteria, but you'll definitely lose a little good bacteria. Okay. But like if you know anything about science, and if we put that on a petri dish, it's like it's going to regenerate within 24 hours. So it regenerates very quickly.
What are some other misconceptions that people either they're afraid to come in because of it, or they're a little scared, or they show up and they're like, look, I have a misconception about this. What do you say, or what are some common ones that come up?
I think the biggest misconception, really, it goes back to, I thought colonics were only for people that were constipated. That's probably the biggest misconception. For someone who's super healthy, once we talk to them on how it boosts your entire immune system, like, oh, I want to give that a try.
Any other myths that you'd like to debunk? Because they are. A lot of my friends are like, no, I don't do that. Like, that's weird. And it's just, if you don't understand how it works and how it actually is working with the body, it's not meant to be invasive.
It's definitely working with your body and not against your body. And I would say it just really goes back to people that are not pooping. I think the biggest takeaway is if you're not pooping, you need to do something about it. And I think we see it every day where people say, my practitioner said these are just symptoms. And so I've been living with them now for 5 years or 10 years. And I'm here to tell you it is not okay. You must be pooping every single day, ideally after every meal. I think the other thing is that they get so discouraged and they're so desperate for answers because they're dealing with constipation and they're not getting any answers. So then they're like, okay, what do I do? And I think there's many things that you can do. You can do a colonic. You could do an at-home distilled water enema. You can do a castor oil pack. Those are extremely beneficial as well to really kind of jumpstart your system to get it going.
What's the difference between like a coffee or a distilled water, you said, enema, and a colonic?
The coffee enema is really designed to help purge your liver, right? And help to detoxify the liver. So the coffee has palmitic acid, so it's high in caffeine. So when you put the coffee into your rectum, it's going to go through the hepatic portal valve. Think about it like the spider wave, like a spider vein, and it's going to filter throughout, almost like dialysis throughout your liver. So it's like shooting caffeine up, dilating everything, opening up everything, and opening up those bile ducts. So those bile ducts can release and transport and carry out all of those toxins.
Oh, so it will dump bile into the system.
Absolutely. Your liver filters every 4 minutes. So the longer that you can hold the coffee enema, ideally 12 to 15 minutes, the more your liver is dumping, every 3 to 4 minutes. And what it's doing is it's creating glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. So it's like producing 500 to 600% of this glutathione. It's like the master antioxidant. You'll feel so good after a coffee enema.
And then I want to touch back on the coffee enema versus the distilled water.
Yeah.
Obviously, the coffee's activating things. What's the distilled water doing for?
When someone's new to doing a coffee enema or they're a little nervous or, skeptical about it, I always say, hey, start off with a water enema. Start off with a water enema. Then you can always graduate up to the coffee enema, right? You can always graduate up to it. So start off with and when you do a water enema, you always want to make sure that it's distilled water because you don't want to use contaminated water. So distilled water is great. Worst case scenario, make sure you're boiling it for 10 to 15 minutes if you're going to do a water enema.
What does it feel like versus having a colonic?
I think they're two totally different things. I mean, when you're dealing with coffee, right, you're stimulating the bile and the liver. I would say it's geared more towards liver detoxification. So for example, when I was dealing with mold, my liver needed a boost. It needed help. So I was doing lots of coffee enemas because I was trying to purge my liver and trying to make it healthy. I was trying to increase that master antioxidant glutathione. With colon hydrotherapy, it's completely different. I mean, we're going through several gallons of water in one session, right?
How long is a session? Because I was in there maybe 30, 40 minutes. Is that typical?
Yeah, that is typical.
Okay.
So in a colon hydrotherapy session, you don't want to go any more than 45 minutes with water.
Why is that?
It's just kind of the rule of thumb.
And do most people, I feel like I released a couple times, but is it better to hold it as long as possible?
Again, everyone's kind of absorbing water throughout their colon hydrotherapy session at a different pace. So, yours could take 20, 25 minutes. Mine could take 30, 40 minutes. It really depends on how we're absorbing the water. But it's just this natural, gentle flow. It's like, think of it like an ocean and waves coming in.
Yeah, it was quite gentle.
It like comes in and then you'll release the water out.
Yeah, and you do feel it. Like you can feel the water moving and then it'll get into a sticky spot and you'll be like, ooh, and then you'll feel the urge to push.
And then you won't see poop the whole time in a colon hydrotherapy session. The rule of thumb is the more you're hydrated, the more poop you're going to see in a colon hydrotherapy session.
The more you're hydrated, the more poop you'll see, just because it's been hydrated. So everything's going to flush out.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because the poop alone, I mean, it's been sitting in there for who knows how long, right? And it's super dehydrated. So if you can start hydrating 3-4 days ahead of time and the day of, the more hydrated you are, the more poop you're going to see in your colon hydrotherapy session.
And so going back to castor oil packs, how does it actually, I use them I'll use them for our menstrual cycle. I'll use them for tummy stuff or gas or bloating. But what's the mechanism? How is it actually working?
So castor oil is really powerful. And when I say powerful, it's got rinosylic acid in it, basically. And it's this really beautiful fatty acid. Think of it almost like an omega-9. And what it's doing is, when you put the castor oil pack on and then you put the heat on, basically what's happening is the castor oil is seeping into your skin. And what it's doing is it's like hovering over the lymphatic tissues. So it's going to start stimulating the lymphatic system and the peristalsis. So it's going to start helping everything kind of move is the best way I can explain it to you. It's very good for liver detoxification. If you put it on the right side, same thing. It'll start to stimulate the liver and the bile ducts will start to open up and to start releasing toxins. Wow. So a castor oil pack is very good, not only for PMS, but for liver detoxification, for constipation. It really that rinosylic acid is nothing else has it but castor oil. So that's what makes it, that's what really sets it apart.
Is castor, it's a seed, right?
Yep.
Okay, it's a seed and then they use the oil.
Yep. And then it's cold pressed. You never want heat pressed. It's
Okay.
hexane free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are important things to look at when you're looking at castor oil. Making
Mm.
sure that it's third party tested, make sure there's no mold. You want to make sure it's USDA organic and you want to make sure it's hexane free.
Good to know.
Extra virgin is always important. Cold pressed is very important. You don't want it to be heat
High
pressed.
altitude too.
Right?
There's so much to look for now.
I know. But castor oil packs are a game changer, but it's really the rhinosilic acid that sets it apart from any other oil out there. It's very stimulating. It's a very fatty compound. And again, once you put the heat and the skin, it starts seeping into it. A lot of clients now are starting to use the castor oil packs that are the little round ones, they're like these little plastic ones and they can kind of stick. They're almost like patches.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're like these castor oil packs. They're going viral right now.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are
Incomplete?
be careful.
Yeah.
They're coming in for, I bought them because I wanted to check them out. I'm like, what are these all about? And they're full of plastic,
Oh.
right? Because they have this little sticky thing. You take it off, it's plastic, and then you have a little bit of castor oil pack on it and it sticks onto you.
So it's convenient, but
It is very convenient, but it's full of plastics. And a lot of our clients are actually getting irritation and rashes. They're sending me pictures.
okay. And you do other things at
Yeah.
your studio.
We do.
What other things are you kind of bolstering to help with the colon hydrotherapy?
We ended up bringing on DermaShape, which is fantastic. So
that's for lymphatic,
yep,
right?
Yep. We're
Okay.
the first wellness center in Arizona to have it, which we're super excited about.
Wow, really?
Yep.
And explain it, because I've had it too. You gave me a session of that. What is talk about the suction and how it works with the lymphatic system?
So the DermaShape system basically is you're laying down on a massage table and it looks like a glass cup. Now cupping is stagnant, right? So when you're cupping, it's just stagnant, staying in one spot. So with the DermaShape, we're taking heat and vacuum. There's a technology. And basically you'll do the whole front of the body and the back of the body. And it's almost like lifting and pulling, but it's very gentle. So it's actually getting into that fascia layer and stimulating the lymphatic system and getting everything to start moving and draining and dumping and breaking up cellulite and all that good stuff.
Wow. And it felt great. I actually thought it was quite gentle and relaxing.
It is, but the results are unbelievable. When someone actually gets off the massage table, usually we'll see the silhouette of someone's body, and it's because all the toxins are dripping out of them after that session.
Just from pulling it through the lymphatic system.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you recommend doing that obviously before the
Yes.
colonic, right? You
Yes.
kind of prime the body.
Absolutely.
And then how should people be finishing with the colonic?
I think a probiotic is very important to take. You can always take a binder as well. You'll want to keep it away from, obviously, the probiotic. So a couple hours apart. But I think after a colon hydrotherapy session, you want to think warm food, light food.
Why warm?
Because cold just kind of is intense for the body. I feel like when I eat like a salad afterwards, it's just too much for my body at that time because I've released so much, and that it's just like cold and just, it creates gas for me personally. So I like to think about like warm food, like bone broth, like a sweet potato, just really warm and gentle.
And then talk to me about the ozonated water that you use.
The ozonated water, it's just going to help oxygenate your entire body. So we love ozone water. I love ozone in general when it comes to healing and repairing and recovery. We have the HOCATT, which is the ozone sauna as well. And that is actually a 30-minute session. So you'll burn 600 calories within that one session.
Why are we burning calories?
Because there's so many there's heat, and you've got carbonic acid in there for the first 3 minutes, and then you have ozone for the next 20 minutes. It's about a 30-minute session. So it's like super oxygen just flooding your body. So there's a lot of heat going on, almost like it's not a steam room because you have far infrared, you've got photon light therapy, you've got FSM, which is the frequency specific microcurrents. You have all these different modalities clicking on throughout that session and activating different things. And it's really, really powerful, ozone is. It'll help inactivate anything viral, fungal, heavy metals. It's just an absolute game changer.
When people visit you, what's the circuit? What's the protocol? How do you recommend people start, especially with the colonic? Like how often?
It just depends. Everyone's body's so different. So some people are coming to us for anti-aging, or we'll have an athlete coming to us for recovery, or we'll have somebody coming to us for cancer or Lyme or mold. So if we have a lot of cancer doctors sending them in for colon hydrotherapy and HOCATT, they'll want them to do 3 to 4 sessions per week, maybe for 2 months. So it really depends on the person.
Okay, talk to me about your life. How have you set up your life? Because obviously you did not start on this health journey when you were
No.
a professor. You went into gardening, which maybe you got a piece of that, and then you
Yeah.
became a chef. But when did you start changing your life, and what have you done in your own home, in your lifestyle, that's really moved the needle and made a big difference?
For me, it was a little bit before we opened up our first practice in 2014. I was doing colon hydrotherapy. The gal I was using retired. So then I had nobody to do my colon hydrotherapy sessions. So I started searching around for people in the valley, and I was going to different facilities getting colon hydrotherapy sessions, and it just wasn't up to par. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like clean, clinical. I just felt like every place was so different. And I thought, gosh, why is it like this? It shouldn't be like this. Like I was looking for consistency. I wanted it to be sterile, clean. People were using different equipment out there. And I felt like it could have been at a whole different level. So it was in 2014 where I said, you know what? I'm going to drop out of my doctorate degree. I'm going to give back and I'm going to open up my own clinic. And that's exactly what we did. I went and got certified to be a colon hydrotherapist. And then we got the best equipment that was out there on the market there. And we decided on the Angel Water. And the Angel Water is FDA cleared. It's a class 2 medical device. And so I wanted to make sure I had the certification, the device, and then I wanted to make sure that the place was going to be very clean, clinical, and bougie. And I really wanted it to feel like a wellness spa. Like when you walk in, I wanted people to kind of go,
You definitely feel that.
and have that, because when I was jumping around to other places, I just didn't feel that. I felt like it was a bit too clinical or sterile. And I wanted it to be a really safe environment for people to be able to talk about poop, parasites, and all the things around gut health. And I think we need to break that norm. And I think we need to start talking about bathroom habits. It's like the gal that came in a couple of weeks ago. She went on a trip with her boyfriend, and she went on a 12-day trip and she didn't poop at all because she was so embarrassed to go to the bathroom to poop during her vacation. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if she's feeling that way, how many other women are feeling that way, right? Or men, or vice versa. I mean, it goes both ways.
Let's talk emotions. I mean, your whole line, we'll get into the trust your gut line because I'm fascinated by it. And I think it's a beautiful line and it's all stuff we use in our daily life. But the emotional aspect of the gut, all the serotonin's being made there. Do you find that women are coming in with anxiety, depression,
Yes.
a lot of anger?
Yes, all of the
Talk
above.
talk to people about how is the gut related to our emotional centers?
There's that brain-gut connection. I mean, there's no question. You've got the vagus nerve as well. And we got the hypothalamus that's communicating. I mean, people are dealing with trauma. People are dealing with stress. People are dealing with drama. I mean, there's all kinds of emotional things that are going on. And I think now more than ever, people are just hanging on to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you hang on to things, your body just clenches and holds on. And it's like you don't want to poop because you're just so tight and you're not breathing. And, when you're in a colon hydrotherapy session, I mean, it's spiritually, it's emotionally, it's like you're holding on to all this. But when you do a colonic, it's like this water is filling up and then you're releasing. You're feeling, it's almost like let that go. And people really are letting it go, and they can get emotional, in their sessions because they're letting it go. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it does activate something and it puts you totally in the present moment in your body. I mean, I wasn't thinking about anything, but oh my God, that water is going in and this is coming out. So it makes it very intimate with your body.
Yeah, it does.
Are there other things, I'm sure clients ask you this, but other ways we can start to tune into our gut a little bit more, have a better relationship with our gut, maybe notice signals from our gut?
I mean, there's different things. Like we have NuCalm, right? So we have this neuroscience technology.
Explain this, yeah.
So it's one of the only FDA neuroscience technologies approved, and we love it. And we have it in our colon hydrotherapy room specifically to help people get out of that fight or flight mode, because they will come in for their session, they're super stressed out, and the minute that they put that NuCalm on, they'll just go into this whole different level, this relaxed mode. And I'm always encouraging people too, when they're in a session, to really this is your time to breathe, unwind, relax, and just start going into that deep breathing mode, right? Like let's start relaxing, and you'll see them. They will go from stressed out to just completely relaxed.
Wow. What about testimonials? Are there any wild stories or stuff that even just surprised you?
Yeah, I mean, this is one that happened a couple of weeks ago. We had a model coming in for some different content, and he's 32 years old. And I thought, gosh, he's physically fit. Like, this is great. And I thought, I'm just going to ask him this question. Like I ask everybody, like, how often do you poop? And he looked at me, he goes, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, no, seriously. Like, how often? And he says, you know what, Marina, I poop probably once every 4 days. And I looked at him and I'm like, are you kidding? And he says, no, I'm not kidding. He says, Marina, I'm going to be really honest with you. I've never felt comfortable, or I've never been in an environment where I could talk about pooping. So this is the first time anyone's ever asked me.
And that was your first question to him? What is poop?
It was one of my first questions to him, right? Because I was just curious.
Yeah.
But I asked, that's usually one of my first questions that I'll ask a client as well.
That's how you make friends.
Yes, I make friends. Yeah. So and I was blown away. And what he did, I said, why don't you come in for a colonic next week? So he came in for a colon hydrotherapy session. I didn't think anything of it. He followed up with me. I said, follow up with me in a couple of weeks. Let me know how things are going, or let's get you back in maybe for another session. I got a text a week and a half later, and he says, Marina, you're not going to believe this. I said, what's that? And he says, I'm pooping twice a day ever since that one colon hydrotherapy session.
Or maybe it's because he got to talk about his poop.
Maybe.
A little bit of combination.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
But I mean, we get testimonials all the time.
I'm sure.
I mean, like the girl that didn't poop for 14 days, that came in. She literally showed me the scale. She weighed herself. She unloaded 10 pounds in her one session. You could unload 2 to 10 pounds in one session. But I mean, we just see some really fascinating things. We hear stories all the time, about gut health and, all kinds of things.
Let's talk about your line, Trust Your Gut. What inspired it? Tell us what's in the line and how we can use it.
Trust Your Gut is our sister company, and that was born out of a lot of love and from a lot of experience. I mean, I've been in the industry for, over 30 years. I mean, I've been getting colonics for over 30 years. So I feel like I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I know what works. I know what doesn't work when it comes to constipation and gut health. And Trust Your Gut was really born because a lot of our clients were asking, what can I do when I go, I'm a snowbird? What can I do? How can I avoid the constipation, Marina? What can I do when I'm going out of the country? What can I do when I'm not here in the Scottsdale, Arizona zip code area?
Right.
And it was like, yeah, you're right. What can you do? Well, I've always done coffee enemas or water enemas. I've always done castor oil packs. So we started looking at different products that people could use to help them on their wellness journey, to not be constipated when they're traveling, because you don't want to be constipated on a vacation. You just don't. No. You need to be pooping. Yes. It'll ruin your entire vacation.
Yeah, it will. That's why we go on vacation, to poop.
That's right. That's right. So Trust Your Gut. What happened was a lot of people were sending us different coffee enema kits. They were sending us different castor oil kits. And we started looking at them. And I was talking to my husband, Steve, and I said, all of these products are coming from different countries. Like they're not even US based. So we started looking at all these products that were coming in, and I'm like, wait a minute, we really need to take a deep dive into this. So we started looking into it, and we started looking at the price point, and then we started looking at what they were charging, and it was mind blowing. I thought, they're price gouging people. Like, things are so expensive. Why is a coffee enema this much? Or why does a coffee enema cost this much? And so I said, we need to create high quality products at a very reasonable price, at an affordable price. People are sick or they need this. Let's make it where everyone can afford to get a coffee enema to take on their, travel trip, or a castor oil pack that they can have. So we wanted to create high quality products that were USDA and that were third-party tested, obviously, because of the mold. That was really important to us. When it comes to our herbal teas that we have, they're all third-party tested, mold-free. That was really important to us.
Is it pretty common that mold is in teas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, don't buy tea
So
off
that's something
Amazon.
you can look for when you buy tea?
Yeah.
Third-party testing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was super important to us. Not only that, it was also important for our coffee enema to be third-party tested and mold-free.
Yeah.
So we are really excited about what we've done. I mean, we're the first female-based company here in the United States. I would say one of them that has USDA organic products like the coffee enema kits, the castor oil packs, the herbal teas, and all of our non-toxic candles.
So this line is fully launched. People can purchase
Yes.
and go to it. Okay, good to know.
And we've created such a beautiful community at trustyourgut.shop. If you go to it, you can buy products, you can join the community. But it's like this gut ecosystem, I feel like, where there's all these different gut products. People are talking about everything related to poop and parasites. And it's just a really comfortable place for people to talk about it. People are embarrassed to talk about it, and people are getting really sick. If you're not eliminating those toxins out, you're going to get sick.
So what's next for Scottsdale Hydrotherapy?
We are getting ready to expand, so we're very excited about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure what different modalities we'll be bringing on. We're definitely going to bring on more colon hydrotherapy. We find that there's such a need for colon hydrotherapy.
Wow.
So we will be expanding and growing, and we're super excited about that.
So where can people find you? How can they get in touch? How can they book their first colonic?
So in order to find Scottsdale Hydrotherapy, obviously you can get in touch with us through our social media. You can call us directly. You can email us as well. Same with Trust Your Gut. We have a telephone number. You can contact us. You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on TikTok as well. And we'd love to connect with you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Such a privilege.
If you like this episode, share it with a friend. For more conversations filled with awe and wonder, be sure to subscribe to the Vitalist podcasts. Till next time.